Hello, hello, hello. A very warm welcome to all our friends, our fans and stakeholders, Nigerians, Africans in the diaspora and on the continent. Today it is Nigeria's Independence Day. You know, it is 60 years of independence from British colonial rule. And for many Nigerians, um, they're not sure they should be celebrating, but for others, there is always a reason to celebrate. And so today I'm dressed a little in the colors of Nigeria, which is green and white. So please, as you join this broadcast, create watch parties, share this broadcast, invite your friends and family and your entire community. Also, like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, when you do so, press the bell button so that when we do go live, you will be alerted. So, welcome. Today, I'm going to be having Mr. George Jumbo. Also, I'm going to be having Joel Nwokeoma. And also, I will be having Bob-manuel Umoru. If you remember, on the day of or a day before the Edo State election, there was a gentleman who, whose video went viral. He was threatening, the what they call him, Bodilon. What they call him? Is it the lion or tiger or Bodilon? He said he was going to chase him out of Lagos State, and he coined the term Edo no be Lagos. And so that got me really, really interested in talking to him. And I found him and we started having conversations. And so I invited him to Africa Rise because such brave and bold young men and women is what Nigeria really needs at this point. Yes. So I'm just gonna quickly begin to add my guests to the screen and let them introduce themselves. Mr. Joel Nwokeoma.
Yes.
Indewonu.
Ndewo, Gekide.
Please introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Joel Nwokeoma. Hello, listeners and watchers across the world. It's a wonderful opportunity to be with you this evening. My name is Joel. I live in Lagos. I'm a journalist. I'm an analyst. I'm an activist.
Right. So I'm going to bring to the stream Mr. George Jumbo. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is George Ibifubara Jumbo. I'm a construction stroke site manager. I live and reside here in the UK.
Right.
And I am an indigene of Grand Bonny Island.
Right. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I live and reside here in the UK. I'm a construction stroke site manager. I work in the construction industry.
Fantastic. Yeah. Welcome to Africa Rise. Just before I go on to, I'm waiting for Bob-manuel. He was trying to connect, and I saw him come on and disappear. So I will just we will just start in earnest and hope that he's able to join, because I don't know why he's coming on and disappearing almost immediately. I will first of all, let me bring Mr. Joe back. So we are talking today. Nigeria is 60 years old, and a lot of Nigerians are not really happy about the situation that we find ourselves in. So that begs the question: 60 years of independence from what and from who? Because for many Nigerians, it doesn't feel as though we have independence yet. In fact, I saw some kind of skit that I just that talked about Nigerians are independent people, but Nigeria itself is still very dependent. There was so much truth to that. And so I will quickly start with Mr. George Jumbo. Go ahead and talk about Nigeria at 60. Are you one of those that is celebrating Nigeria at 60? And if you are, tell us the reasons why.
Well, to tell you the exact truth, you only celebrate when there is goodness. It's very unfortunate that at 60, Nigeria is nowhere near independence. It's so unfortunate. There is really nothing to celebrate. You know, as progressive human beings, you know, let me take myself as an example, or any average human being. You know, as you progress in life, if you're happy that you're making progress, every year you want to celebrate and thank God, and ask God to give you the strength and the enablement to progress to a higher level. In the case of Nigeria, we are independent in the sense that, you know, we control our affairs. You know, we elect, so to say, our leaders. But unfortunately, in terms of economy, we're not independent. In terms of education, we are nowhere. There is absolutely nothing to celebrate about our so-called independence. So, as far as I'm concerned, my kids are calling me. As far as I'm concerned, this is not a time for celebration. This is a time for us to look inwardly and look at all the mistakes we have made, everything we have made, and see how we can flip everything around and then have cause to celebrate in future. As it stands now, there is no cause for us to celebrate. There is really no reason for us to celebrate. We cannot celebrate when there are children out of school. We cannot celebrate when, if you don't have money, as much as 500 naira, you will die. You go to the general hospital, you are told you have to pay a certain amount before you get treatment. If you are you are attacked, you know, if there is a crime, you are involved in a crime and you're the victim, the case can't go anywhere. The policeman would not write or incident the statement if you don't pay.
Right.
Yes, if you want good quality education for your children, if you don't have money, you can't get good quality education. So you look back and you ask yourself, what is there really for us to celebrate? There is practically nothing.
I cannot agree with you more. The truth of the matter is, I try to reflect in myself to try to see if there, of course, there are. Nigeria is a very, you know, we're believers. There are people who say we are alive. Yes, we are alive. God has given us life like He's giving to the rest of the world, America, Britain, the rest of Africa. The point we're trying to make here is that what are we doing with the life that God has given to us, as opposed to just, for some of us, just passing through life and just wasting time, because we're not taking advantage of the moments that we have here on earth. So yes, I am in the same party with you when it comes to saying that there is really nothing to celebrate about. I'm going to quickly bring Mr. Joel Nwokeoma. Mr. Joel Nwokeoma, please quickly tell us, are you celebrating Nigeria at 60? And if you are, what are the reasons why you are celebrating Nigeria at 60?
Oh, thank you very much for the question. And I think there are very many ways to look at the question. Nigeria at 60, from independence from what and from who? As a matter of fact, take it that given the attainment of nationhood in 1960, which confers the right and the power for sovereign rule by Nigeria. So Nigeria has had independence, political independence, so to say, from the British colonial rulers. And from what? The next question, and the fact that we have now the power to rule ourselves, that gives us certain bragging rights in the Committee of Nations. But having said that, you're asking me, are you celebrating? I just observed the day, just like many Nigerians observe the day, sitting at home or at work, reflecting on the realities of nationhood for Nigeria. Looking back so as to see where we are, what we were, and where we are going. And if I am to say, the overwhelming conclusions of Nigeria is that this is not the nation that had so much promise in 1960, which means we have had independence, we have had the opportunity to lower the flag, the Union Jack, and hoist Nigerian green, white, green as a country, as an independent country. But it has not given, we have not had that ability, that capacity to live up to our promise. On that basis, many people are not celebrating. They are not celebrating the Nigerian dream.
Right. Absolutely. I can see Mr. Bob-manuel is here, but I don't think he's able to join. He was running late, and so I couldn't test run with him. I don't think he's able to navigate how to come on to the stream. Anyway, if we say we're celebrating independence from colonial masters, does it really feel as though Nigeria is really independent? And come to think about it, would we have preferred not to have independence after all, after seeing the realities of what's going on, that the moment Nigeria was given independence a few years after, we lost it. We just kept going down the drain. Mr. George.
Okay. They have said that we Nigerians, our forefathers, that took over this mantle of leadership from the British people, are actually colonial men. Colonial men are like slaves who have been released. And, but unfortunately, because of everything that has happened from when they took over power to date, we have actually not released ourselves. We are still operating with that colonial mentality. Yes. So until we, just like Joel, is it Joel?
Yes.
Yes, just like Joel said, we've been we've been given independence, but the opportunity, we have not translated it into something tangible that will make us, at this stage, tell ourselves that we are truly independent. Until we get to that stage where we translate all the opportunities we have into something tangible that will make us improve our education, improve our agriculture, improve our security, improve all the institutions that make a great nation, we are nowhere near independence. And again, we should stop playing the victim card and telling people that we have been given partial independence, and it's because of the Western world we are having this problem. It's false. We created the problem for ourselves, and we have to solve the problem.
How did we create the problem for ourselves? I know I kind of understand where you're coming from, but do you not think that there are external manipulations, which is the reason why we're unable to?
No, madam, see, we live here in the UK. I'll give you a clear instance. I'm sorry, I'm going to deviate a bit, but I want to give you a very clear instance. The British people gave us independence. By right, by logic, you expect that we would adapt their way of thinking, their way of governance, and their way of doing things. Now, you take, for example, our leaders, our governors, our men in power. See how much one governor votes aside money for security. You see how much volume of waste we pump into, entourage, going around with the governor, doing practically nothing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you now compare what happens here in the UK, the same people that gave us independence. Boris Johnson drives around with, I think, just about 3 cars, security, and maybe 2 outriders, and that's it. I don't know if you've been to the polling booth here in the UK to go and vote. They use ordinary piece of paper and pencil. Every person walking in the polling booth is a volunteer. They don't pay you any money. It's so cheap to conduct election in this country, but extremely expensive in Nigeria. Why? So, we need to look inwardly. We need to look at ourselves. I want to renew my British passport, my British international passport. It will cost me £55 and less stress, less problem, and I'll get it without any stories. But if I want to renew my Nigerian passport, it will cost me £200 plus transport, a lot of stress, and I might not get it when I need it. So you now ask yourself, the problem is not actually from external forces. The problem is actually from Nigerians within us.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Just before COVID struck, I tried to renew my Nigerian passport. After I was made to pay so much extra money for a fast track, I ended up a long time. By the time the passport was out here, COVID had locked us down and we couldn't go anywhere. So I know what you're saying. This is Bob-manuel Umoru. And I am really excited to bring him here. Bob-manuel, please introduce yourself quickly first.
Good evening, Nigerians, and good evening to the good people of the universe. My name is Bob-manuel Umoru. I'm a proud Nigerian, a proud African from Edo State, and I am an Esa by tribe. By the special grace of God, I am self-employed, and I'm a youth who believes so much in the future of our nation, irrespective of what our challenges are now. There is hope.
Absolutely. There's always hope. As long as there's life, there is hope. But Manuel, I have heard you during the Edo elections. You gave a long enumeration of all the problems and all the factors, and you were the first person to boldly come out in public to talk to the Lion of Bodilon. And you said you were going to chase him out of Lagos if he tries anything. And for me, that was it. Let me ask you, if you have such a passion for Nigeria, because you have such a passion for Nigeria and for your state, what is that exactly that you're celebrating Nigeria for in these 60 years that makes you so passionate?
Well, in spite of whatever is happening now, the number one thing I want to celebrate Nigeria for, number one, is the love of God for this nation. There is no nation on the surface of the earth that God so much invested his love and attention on than the nation Nigeria. The number two reason I have to celebrate Nigeria at 60, it's our diversity. So beautiful. If you know my state very well, Edo State is also a state with multi-ethnic groups, just like Nigeria. And for the past 20-something years now, Edo State is living in peace. None of the ethnic tribes has had the cause of taking weapons to fight.
Okay. The network is seized him.
Yeah,
The security challenges that we are facing. So if there's anything I have as a person to celebrate Nigeria for, is that diversity. Whether we are united 100% or not, that God showed his love upon us and diversified Nigeria in languages and in mineral resources is worth celebrating.
Wow. It's so you know, a few days ago I had children on this program and they made me feel very high. I ended on a very high note because you're sounding as hopeful as the children were, you know. So I'm Mr. George, you heard Mr. Bob-manuel talk about all the reasons why Nigeria and I quite agree with him for the diversity part because I mean that is where our strength really lies in our diversity. If unscrupulous people don't want to take advantage of using religion and politics to divide us, that's actually where our strength lies. Moving forward, how are we going to be able to harness this diversity if we don't do away with these people in the political system and space that keep stifling us?
Okay, yeah. Now, quick one. First and foremost, I think for us to achieve any meaningful progress as far as Nigeria is concerned, our mindset has to shift. Our mindset is not ready to shift. Now, I like to, use typical situations I see every day in Nigeria, to use. I like to use it as I like to use them as example, because if we can change those situations, trust me, there is really no country like Nigeria. I was in Nigeria as a result of this. I was in Nigeria for 7 months as a result of this COVID-19 lockdown. And I tell you, one thing I really enjoyed in Nigeria was the food. Another thing that I enjoyed so much is the opportunity for me to be able to use little pounds I get from the UK here, convert it, and be able to do.
Oh.
Getting a call. I had a call coming in, so I had to decline it. I was able to use very little money from the UK here to do so much back in Nigeria. But it still boils down to the same issue. When we change our mindsets, when we start looking inwardly and telling ourselves that out of all the mess that has been created in Nigeria, out of all the terrible things that we have, we can actually achieve greatness with the much we have if we can just change our mindset. Now, sorry, I have a house full of kids, so they just keep on disturbing. Now, if we love our neighbor as ourselves, we can invest more in educating our children, making sure that we build a very solid educational background, not just for our own children, but for our community, for Nigeria, for every child in Nigeria. Education should be free. If we really want Nigeria to move forward in terms of security, we should tell ourselves that a policeman being the first line of defense and the last line of defense should be paid very well. We should not tell ourselves when you meet a policeman and he's asking you for bribe and he's telling you that the money is not enough, and you tell him, why did you go to do the job? Why did you take the job in the first place? We have created that situation, and that is why they are able to do what they are doing. We should also tell ourselves that it is high time we start ensuring that our teachers, our doctors, our policemen are paid well. And it is high time our leaders, the leaders we elect into office, come there and represent us, not themselves. Not because he's my brother, then I should cover up. No. We should actually tell ourselves that it is high time, whether it is my brother, it is my sister, it should start doing the right thing. Until we get to that point, until we change our mind, Nigeria can never go anywhere. We can tell ourselves the sweetest story on earth. Nigeria will never change. That's the truth.
Absolutely. I'm going to take a quick read. Ege Michael David says Nigeria is the best country in the world. Don't we all say that? Bob-manuel, you know, can you unmute yourself? I wanted to ask you, what gave you that audacity? What gave you the boldness to publicly challenge, is it Chief or Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What gave you that boldness? Were you not scared? Because Nigeria is a society where a lot of people want to speak, but they're so overwhelmed with fear because these people can do and undo, like my mom would say, because they have all the political powers and all the money.
Well, first, I will answer you this one. From the beginning, you called him the Lion of Babylon. And I think he's an artificial lion because my own father is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And if I belong to the Lion of the tribe of Judah, I came from heaven. He is an earthly lion. My duty is to tame him. The Lion of Babylon, whatever we all see, is not different from you and I. Just like Sir George was saying, we need to educate the people. We need to educate everybody. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. So why would somebody just sit in Lagos and begin to decide what happened in Edo State, what happened in Zamfara, what happened here, what happened here? So I look at it. What is the difference between me and Asiwaju? Asiwaju has one head, I have one head. He has a leg, I have a leg. He's sleeping on one bed, I'm sleeping on one bed. If he enters a car, he's going to sit on one seat, not the whole seat. If he's to drive, the steering and not the whole of the wheel. So what is the difference between myself and himself? We artificially created a dichotomy between the elected or the leaders and the follower. Asiwaju is not different from any other Nigerian. Now, if you ask me what actually made me to respond to him like that, you see, when we are talking about building democracy, I took my time to listen to Sir George and I fall to his line that we as a people need to be re-educated, we need to be reoriented. And that is when we journey through nationhood. What we have now, permit me to say this, Nigeria is like a bowl of salad, a combination of rubbish, and then you pour the cream on it, it becomes a mess. To get it right, you have to throw the whole of that rubbish, wash the bowl again, then start creating what you need to create. Now, Asiwaju sat down and told Edo people to vote out a progressive governor, a governor who for the first time in the history of Nigeria brought about a petrochemical refinery, a modular refinery for the first time in the history of Africa that a governor will do that. That not alone, he went on independent power projects. Then you, because of you want to service somebody who was servicing you, a former national chairman, you sat down ordering Edo people as if they are his colony, as if they are his political slaves, as if they are his children that he begot. Go and vote out somebody. Isn't that appalling? What happened to my tongue? What happens to my mind? What happens to my conscience of deciding who leads me and who doesn't lead me? And that is the only problem that Nigeria has. The only problem that is bedeviling this nation is what he has said, leadership. Solve leadership problem today, you have solved 99% problem of Nigeria. Now, looking at Nigeria from 1999 to date, there is never a time you want to mention 3 persons who destroyed Nigeria that you will not mention Asiwaju's name. Lagos is the leading economy in Nigeria. Once Lagos economy and the commonwealth of the people is tampered with, whoever is doing that is the #1 enemy of the nation. And that is why I have the right to say no. I'm a stakeholder in this society. I vote, I do everything, I pay tax, I run my bills. So why would somebody who is so big, who is not running my bill, now decide what happened in my state, what happened to my life, who decide what happened to my future? I think it's time we create a different world. And that was my response. Then the second reason why I responded to Asiwaju, you see, my dear sister, if you package yourself well, I have no reason than to respect you. Then if you go the other way around, I'll do the same thing. Now, you say we cannot take away the role of traditional institutions away from our country. If you want Nigeria to develop, you must look into culture and tradition. The Igbos have their culture. The Yorubas have their culture. The Hausas have their culture. The Edos have their culture. For example, if you come to Edo land, the Oba, we don't see him as a human, though he's a human. He has his laps, and then we still tell him, Daddy, you are wrong in this direction. But we as a people see him as a deity. The same thing the Yoruba people. Now, the only number one king in the whole Yoruba land is the Oni of Ife. The same as what the people said we should be respecting. When the royal father entered into the hall of events, every person, everybody in that hall stood up. Not because he was the oldest, not because he was the richest, not because he was the wisest, not because he was the most educated, but because by the virtue of traditional authority, he is the number one citizen of the Yoruba race worldwide. Every person stood up in that hall except Asiwaju. Now, there was a king who was in that hall who was far, far lesser in rank to the Oni of Ife. Asiwaju stood up to honor the king when he came in. But when the number one man of the Yoruba race came into the hall, you sat down and then you use your hand to tell him you are welcome. Who does that? The same king we are talking about, sir, ma'am, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the man on whose shoulder the pillar of our democracy is resting, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, when he went to see the Oni of Ife, I want you to take note of this. Obasanjo is older than him. Chief Obasanjo is more experienced than him. Chief Obasanjo has children of his age mate. Perhaps Chief Obasanjo may be his grandfather. But what did the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria did? A man who is respected globally, prostrated before a man who is as old as his own grandchild, to tell the nation and the people that we must respect institutions. If Obasanjo could prostrate before the Oni of Ife, who is far, 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 far more better and seated in authority than Asiwaju, then I see no reason why Asiwaju should stand and tell the people where the nation is running to. Like I said in that video, in 1998-1999, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to Nigeria a very, very poor, wretched man. He came to Nigeria under plea bargaining when he was caught with hard grams of drugs. He parted away with his money, his wealth, and came to Nigeria with something that looked like a polythene bag. Now I want to tell you this. Many Nigerians don't know. In 1999, I am speaking under a very, very correct information. And if what I am saying now, if it is not the truth, I challenge Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu to go to court and seek redress on this matter. Let him seek redress and speak to him. In 1999, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu with one of our nationalists, our father, Chief Olufalaye. You know, Olufalaye contested election with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Now he went to the Lagos airport. Then there is my source of information is very close to the late son of Chief Olufalaye. So he said, please go and pick my daddy for me from the airport. On getting to the airport, he saw Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu standing with our hero, Chief Olufalaye. And then he came to pick Olufalaye. Luckily, he discovered Asiwaju was with him. So Asiwaju was sitting in the front, he was sitting at the back. The name of the car, the time, and everything is on my hand. Now, when he said something, he called me. He said, Bob, everything you said concerning Asiwaju is correct. He said, because in 1999, I was opportune to pick Chief Olufalaye, and the guy that was with him was Asiwaju. He was sitting at the front. He said, guess what? I said, what, sir? He said, you were not lying. He said, the clothes Asiwaju was putting on was what made him not to collect contact from him. Because it was like a case of Oga and his boy. The cloth was faded at the back with potholes at the back. Permit me to use potholes because it was a road map. There were holes on that shirt. So He said now 10 years ago, he now came to Lagos only to discover that Oriental Hotel belonged to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and some other landmark this thing. Now the question you and I will be asking, if he is a Democrat, if he is a leader who is interested in the future of Nigeria, between 1999 and 2007, for God's sake, if not the wealth of the people, if not that he fantastically stole our money, where did Asiwaju get money to develop such edifice as Oriental Hotel and other big edifice in the nation? So when we are not talking of democracy, when we are talking about nation building, when we are talking about forging ahead for the future, when we are talking about handing over to the next generation, by the special grace of God, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as he is, Asiwaju, to keep quiet and glue his mouth, because he has no moral justification, he has no moral standard, he has no moral license to speak. This is what has befallen him. And again, I want you to take this. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and 95 to 99% of those ruling Nigeria now are supposed to be behind bars. I rest my case.
I am so, this, my brother, I just love you like this. You know why? Because I don't know about Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming from America with a paper bag. I cannot attest to that. There are some things I cannot attest to, but I personally met Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1999 myself, physically. I was introduced to him, and 2 weeks after the introduction, he was a governor. I never saw him again. He's not my friend. I don't know him. So I know the person that I saw. So one of the things that really leaves me gobsmacked is the fact that you can just be pushing wheelbarrow, and you can be driving a V-boot that breaks down in the middle of Wusetu in Abuja, and in a few weeks you become the governor, you become a senator, you become a minister, and then you own all these properties, and the society does not ask you or make you accountable. Then they make you a god and a deity, because they have, like someone said, they have they've used poverty and all these things to make Nigerians stop thinking because of fear. When someone is hungry, all you're thinking about is where your next meal is going to come from. It's not whether your values and certain things are respected. Mr. Joel has disappeared again. I wanted to talk to him. Helen D, I see you. Hello. And Sister Nengi Regina Furo, she's laughing. Yes. Mr. George, tell me how you feel about this, my brother Bob-manuel. The reason is because I'm a super fan of his. I love him because if Nigeria can boast of a few young people, regardless of your background, because obviously Bob-manuel is not talking because his father is or his mother is some political elite with so much money who has no fear. These are the sort of people who can talk, who can ginger, who can inform, sensitize other people in their community to stand up to these people who have decided that they will not let Nigeria go, no matter what God says.
Okay. First and foremost, it's an honor. Trust me, it's an honor to be in this in the same forum with Bob-manuel Umoru. I watched your video clip, and I watched it. You know, and to tell you the exact truth, I was touched, and why I was touched is because you spoke the truth. The truth is very bitter. People hate the truth. You understand? But if a young man like you can be so bold to call Bola Tinubu a worthless lion, to stand up and call him a worthless lion and speak the truth about him, trust me, you're a great man. And I believe that if we have more Nigerians like you speaking the truth, telling other Nigerians the truth, the bitter truth, what a lot of us do not want to hear, I can bet you Nigeria will become a great nation. Now, you see why, people, especially Nigerians, While Nigerians continue to suffer, it's because of ignorance and because they continue to live in denial. I give you I give you a very clear instance. If you go back to your village, you find out that one of your uncle or your auntie is sick, and then all of a sudden she dies. What they will say is somebody from the village, somebody from the family has succeeded in killing them, but they would not think about their health and tell themselves the truth that they have not been living a healthy lifestyle. And because they have not been living a healthy lifestyle, they are bound to suffer from heart attack, diabetes, stroke, and you name it. Until Nigeria, I keep on saying this, if we don't speak the truth, if we don't stand up and tell ourselves the truth and tell our leaders the truth, Nigeria is not going anywhere. Our leaders are thieves. I'll say it. I'm sorry I have to say it, but some people would not like it. But they are thieves. And for a young man like this to stand up, he's seen what Obaseki has done in Edo State. Maybe Obaseki is not from the same village with him. He's not his uncle, but he's seen that Obaseki is implementing policies and projects that will positively affect the ordinary Edo person. And he's found out that somebody like Bola Ahmed Tinubu will only want to come in and take control of the capitalists. He wants to put his own stooge there so that at the end of the day, the man is serving him. He's not serving the people. But this young man has been able to stand up there and he's telling everybody, this is the truth. And you think you are Goliath. You are nothing. Look, we need more people like Bob-manuel. We need more Bob-manuel in Nigeria. And until we start standing up and telling our leaders what they truly are and ensure that the right thing is done, we cannot go anywhere. Our local government chairman, Bonny local government chairman, whilst I was in Bonny, came on air to say that Bonny is like Little London.
Yeah.
When he has not done anything to improve that community. You understand? And everybody, people that want to benefit from him came on Facebook and they were praising him.
Lies. That's what we live. A
Hypocrisy.
society of lies.
Wike locked the Bonny Island. He locked it down for how many weeks? There was no palliative. Nothing. There were a lot of people dying of hunger. And they did not bring in any palliative until he lifted the lockdown. And guess what? The same people that he locked down and the same people that want to benefit from him came on Facebook and were praising him. Nigerians should stand up and speak the truth, like Bob-manuel Umoru. God bless you, my brother.
Nigeria should stand up and speak the truth. If we love ourselves, if we love our children, if we love our future generation, we should speak the truth. This is a time to speak the truth. I mean, if we were in Cuckoo land, the lockdown, the COVID-19 have now dropped the scale from the eyes of every individual around the world. So I'm just going to take a quick read. Helen D said, I am proud of him. She's talking about Bob-manuel. She's in America. And Hassana Eni, I think that's my friend. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria, she says. And again, Michael Davis says, Nigeria is working well for our politicians and pastors. Princess Ivy Osawe says, very well spoken, sir. And yes, Helen Day says, eye service. We do eye service a lot in Nigeria. And Neki Reginald Furo says, I pray that God gives you the grace to stand by the truth under any circumstance. Some started this way, but are now ministers in this government. You know what that means, Umoru? Some people back and back and back. And we think they have all the substance. And the moment they're part of the government, they buckle, they begin to compromise. You know what? I read, I'm not sure if this is true. Sorry, I'm going to come to you. I'm not sure how true this is, but just before we came on this broadcast, I read somewhere online that there has been a ban, visa ban on certain family members, politicians who their family members are going to be deported from America because, and then they named some people like family members. I don't know if it's true because I wasn't able to authenticate this story before we came on air. But these are the sort of things we want to, because when we talk, when we make noise, people think we're just talking, we're just making noise. No, but they're listening to us. The international community. I'm doing my thing. So many other people doing similar things, but the point is we are crying out and people are hearing. You know, now that they know them, where they who is that? Please.
It's from your own end. Yeah, it's correct.
Anyway, this is so weird. Anyway. So finally, they're now hitting them where it hurts is that they like to take the money. They don't like to implement the project. They don't like to build hospitals. They don't want to create tourist centers. They want to take themselves and their families to foreign countries and enjoy the money. And now, if it is true, it means that these people go to America again. Guess what? It is gonna happen. So, Brian, I was moved when I first saw your video about you. You all need a kind of spirit. You're a powerful man. You can command an army. You have a big brother, and you have to guide it for the benefit of the people. I like to follow you on Facebook and any other platform. I'll tell you though, this person who wrote this is spirited like you. Bob-manuel, please go ahead. And so tell us how you intend to use this fiery spirit of yours, this doggedness that you have beyond those things.
Okay, let me quickly respond like this. You know, one of the things that has really gone wrong over the time is that a lot of persons come out to speak, and in the middle of the journey, because their eyes is not strictly on the goal, they get dissuaded by gifts, monetary, and all that along the road. Let me quickly cite an example. When I was in school, in my school days, the same Osomole who is now assuming godfather, assuming the position of a godfather in Edo State, he was governor while I was in school. So he hiked our school fees above the level that was expected. And then we started protests. At a point, a lot of persons moved out of the race, and among others. Now, backdoor, he was sending people, go and do this, go and do this. You know what I mean? Go and give them this, go and give them this. And the only thing I told the person is, my agitation is for downward review of the school fees. Return it back to status quo or downward. Not for me to take this thing. I don't want to take money on the pains of the Nigerian students. If it was for money, by the grace of God, my daddy could afford that for me. If it is for money. And whatever my father cannot afford for me, I don't believe any man will love me so much, abandon his own responsibility, and take his wealth and confer on me. If my father cannot provide it for me, the next person I look up to back then is my God. And so far, so good in school. I never lacked because he was there for me. My parents were there for me. Now, on this journey, I have always prayed one prayer to God that this is my destiny. My destiny is to fight for the liberation of Nigerians, not minding who is involved that I need to face and tell the truth or fight if the need be. And I have told God one thing, that if he knows on the path of this journey that I am going to compromise and disgrace heaven, I say, get this clear, I am not one of those Christians who put Bible on the middle of their head and then use religion to cover my face. No. I fear God and respect man. And I love my country. And for my country, I am ready to lay down anything, even if it involves my life. But I want you to understand that I am not going to die because I'm going to see the end of this chain that we are driving. Now, I have told God one thing, that if on the line of this journey, I'm going to compromise and it's going to heap untold pains on the people, he should end my life. It's not a must for any man to live for 120 years. It's not a must for me to live 200 years. You can be 200 years in this world and be useless and be earthly useless. And posterity will not remember you. Now, what I am doing presently, along my team, what we have decided to do is a simple thing. I have leaders who are my mentors, and they are talking to me. They are telling me, when I present idea to them, they say, okay, this is how to drive it. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. We have resolved. And this is our #1 resolution. I don't know if you, sir, I don't know if you have seen that petition. There is a petition that I've circulated now, calling on international communities, UN, United States of America, Canada, China, all the important governments of the world, to place with immediate effect a 1-year ban on all elected and appointed political officers in Nigeria until they fix the critical sectors of this nation. We cannot be having dilapidated health system, like Mr. George said, and you are traveling on medical tourism. We cannot be having epilepsy power supply. You will take our private jet to travel abroad to go and charge your phone, or take tankers of diesels and petrol on standby in Aso Rock and all government house, and then begin to fuel your gen, power your gen. No, the petition is not one-sided. It's not for APC. I am a card-carrying member of PDP. I have been in PDP since 1999. I have been offered money, cars, and everything to dump my party for opposition party. I have refused. So if I have refused such influence of materialism, then there is nothing I cannot refuse. The petition is wholesome. It is both for PDP and APC. Whether you are PDP, APC, ABGA, as long as you are elected or appointed, you are in Nigeria, be you a commissioner, be you a local government chairman, you cannot leave this country. That is the thrust of the petition. And when we gather the needed signatures, I will put you on notice again. Myself and all the team members, we will go around all the embassies hitherto mentioned in this petition, telling them to do the prayers of this petition. Refusal to do the prayer, by the special grace of God, those of us in our team, we are students of Martin Luther King School of Thought. We are students of Nelson Mandela School of Thought. We are students of Mahatma Gandhi School of Thought. This revolution we are talking about is not a bloody one. It's not a carry gun, carry knife. No, it's going to be an intellectual warfare. You think you are knowledgeable enough to fool us? We will tell you we have it upstairs too. So we are going to look at it policy by policy. We are going to look at it face to face. Enough is enough. I have come to realize, and that is the message we are sending out. The power of the people who voted in anybody is greater than those who are voted in. So the power of the people is greater than the people in power. We want to restrict every one of them from traveling. Is it not shameful? Is it not shameful? At 60, we have 49 discovered mineral resources. I want you to take your research. None of the mineral resources is harnessed to 5%. The crude oil we are dying after, that these men are stealing the commonwealth and the produce of crude oil. Crude oil has over 1,100 byproducts. Shamefully, 60 years down the line, Nigeria is only interested in petrol, diesel, kerosene, and of course, gas. And These are the trust that we are not saying no to. So our purpose, our trust, our focus is not money. We are not interested in money. We are not interested in items. We are telling you enough is enough. Like he mentioned, common headache will kill somebody in Nigeria. Then you tell us, now my grandfather, now they do one. And whereas the grandfather is a gentleman, somebody will slump and die because the person has not eaten for days or for hours. You will tell us it's coronavirus that killed the person. A lot of ills are taking place. So our own now, you say, I don't want to mention the problem. I just want to tell you what the solutions are. The solution is first, one, we are going to compel our elected and our appointed to do the job that the Constitution has ordered them to do. Failure to do it is not going to be business as usual. That is just what I want you to understand.
Wow.
Madam.
Yes.
You want to say before you conclude, because I'm looking at your time. I want to thank you so much. I want to say Bob-manuel Umoru. Is it Umoru?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, for a very long time, man, Nigeria created forum. We just talk, and we don't solve problem. But you see, God has a way. God works in mysterious ways, and like I said, God loves spirit. Madam Susan created this forum for us to tell ourselves the truth that a very serious problem.
Yes.
A very serious problem. Aside trying to portray and present this fact, also giving us the opportunity to find solution. Yeah, and not just big solution. That's actual effective solution. She looked out for you. She was doing a lot of research for you. And she sourced you. I've been listening to everything. You made a very wonderful. And it's not just an ordinary point. It's a point. It's a solution. Positively turn things around in Nigeria. Somebody might look at you as an ordinary, but I want to tell Bob-manuel Umoru that, you see, in every generation, there is a time for everything. There was a time for Martin Luther King. There was a time for Obama. And these people came at a particular time and they effected proper change. Without the sacrifice of Martin Luther King, I don't think Obama would have been the president of America. Now, Bob-manuel has said something very important. And if Nigerians can be very serious about it, I can tell you one thing. I can tell you a lot of things that will happen. Our schools, our own schools, will become good. Yes. Our hospitals will become good. Our internet service providers will provide services for us. Our police people will serve us well. We will have electricity. When we not only prevent our political leaders from traveling, none of their children, their children's children, their relation should travel abroad seeking for good quality education, good health care. Nothing. They should stay back in Nigeria. See, if we can do this, trust me, Nigeria will be a great nation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your eye. Thank you. I am behind you. I will follow you to the end. I will follow you to the end of this world, fighting for that cause. God bless you.
Now, Mr. George, because you talked about proffering solution and Mr. Umoru is all about proffering solutions, it brings me to introducing you and I have spoken. I know what you did whilst you were in Nigeria during the lockdown, Mr. George. And
Yes,
you were locked down in Bonny Island. And during this time, you saw a lot of children who went to public schools who couldn't go to school, and their parents could not afford to give them education, primary and secondary school children.
yes,
And you went out of
yes,
your way to begin to sponsor these kids to the point where your pocket dried out and you were calling your family here to keep sending the little money they could because you needed to do something. These are the sort of people, selfless, selfless people that we need. And so I made mention to you, I promised you that I alone, even if I wanted to come and say I'm going to do a contribution, I don't have that capacity to make the kind of significant, impact. And therefore, this platform, Africa Rise, have always been a platform that was designed to also bring this sort of, you know, um, sponsor children from less privileged backgrounds, especially through school. And when you told me what you were doing, I did announce here that henceforth, we're going to come up with some kind of way that people can contribute. And we will make sure that every money contributed for the purpose of sponsoring any child, whether it's in Bonny Island or anywhere else in Africa, will be judiciously used. We will publicly state how much we have gotten, who sent in money, and how the money is being sent, and whoever we send monies to will also be accountable by telling us, showing us concrete evidence on how the monies are being spent, because these are the things that they don't do well in Nigeria, and that's the reason why monies go into private pockets. So please, guys listening, everyone listening, there's nothing that is too small. I'm going to post a PayPal account that you can begin to contribute. And when you do send in your contribution, please say it's for sponsorship of the children in Bonny Island or in Africa or in Nigeria, wherever, because we're not going to stop by just doing Bonny Island or just Nigeria. Okay. So finally, I have been working on collaborating with corporate bodies so that we can get this flying ASAP. And I do hope that in the shortest space of time, it will come to light. And so quickly, our time is fast spent. But you're going to be the last one to speak, because when you're talking, I feel like I'm in church. The way the pastors fire me up, that's how I feel. So, Mr. George Jumbo, when you write, Mr. George, the way your words come through is the way he speaks. So, you quickly give us some words, advice of encouragement as Nigerians, 60 years moving forward, how we can get ourselves out of this quagmire that we find ourselves in, Mr. George.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on your program. And it's not just any program where you come and speak like a typical Nigerian. You know, Nigerians like to talk. They like to talk. And like our ordinary people will say, like to blow plenty grammar. But it's not just coming to speak on the program. It's coming to say the truth about our situation, and not just talking about our situation, but profiling tangible solutions that will turn things around and enable Africa to rise. And you see, when Nigeria is able to rise, Africa would rise. So if we have more programs like Africa Rise, pioneered by Susan West, trust me, we'll be reaching a lot of people. What she just mentioned about these kids, sorry, I just deviate a bit. And these kids in Bonny, I'd never stayed in my hometown for more than 2 weeks, but as a result of COVID-19 and my late father's situation, then he was 101, 102. I was compelled to stay. I was really compelled to take care of that. And while staying in Bonny, I realized that, students in 1, SS2, SS3, about to graduate from secondary school, could not read 2-letter words. That's 2-letter words. Now, simple arithmetic for them is difficult. And we have LNG located in Bonny. We have Shell located in Bonny. And yet, the quality of education is it's like it's just it's there, it's not existing. Now Bonny is like the main town. There are other communities in the creek. If you go there, my sister, you will cry. So we're looking at a generation that are coming out as semi-illiterate. So you're having less than 1% graduating and going on to university. Except if you have money. If you don't have money, that's it, just forget it. So now kids were locked down at home. And the only people that were able to go online and study are the children of the elites. And even my own late sister's grandchildren were unable to get that opportunity. And I said to myself, when my children come back from the UK to Bonny, and I have to introduce them to their relations. How am I going to do it? How do I want to blend? I mean well for my family. Am I going to just separate my children and allow my sister's own children, my own cousin's children, to remain, uneducated because their parents cannot afford to get online program for them? And I said, no, this is too bad. So I started begging. I actually started begging, calling people, asking them for money, begging my family, please send down some money. And then I had the environment. I have my father's house, So I used my father's house in Bonny Island as a mini school to provide free education for about 40 kids.
Wow.
We buy the books, I pay the teachers every week. And I realized that these teachers were very ready and happy to teach these. And these children that don't know anything are desperately hungry for knowledge, real knowledge. I went on the street and started picking hawkers. You can't hawk. Come. And then I went into the village. I said, you can't send your daughter to hawk. It now becomes a vicious circle, a generational thing. Tomorrow she would hawk and she cannot progress further to earn good money and build a house for you. So stop hawking. Come. Book free, everything free. And these kids, oh my God, they are doing. You can imagine a 3-year, 5-year, 4-year-old can count up to 1,000. Meanwhile, the kids here in the UK can't. So why wouldn't I be encouraged? Why wouldn't I be happy to invest my last kobo training these children? Even if they'll be smarter than my own children. That is what our community is supposed to be. That is what Nigeria should start translating into. Because when we translate into that, America no reach us. The smartest kids here today in the UK are Nigerians because they are given the enabling environment. So why we do it? We can do it even better. That is all I have to say. Another thing I need to say again is, whilst in Bonny, I was able to get a couple of doctors. If a kid has a problem, I call the doctor. I will go we have a video call. He's able to examine the child, if it's a physical thing, scabies or whatever, examine the child, you understand? And the doctor is, my own cousin, Dr. Edmond Jumbo, was rendering that free services, free consultancy services, and a couple of other doctors that are my friend, for the kids money that are not able, their parents are not able to pay for private yeah.
Now that is the Nigeria that is 60 years old. The Nigeria where Ebony Island, where LNG resides. The Nigeria where Shell is prominent. Right under their nose, you have children growing up to be illiterate. Children ready to write senior YA who cannot read. And what kind of a future are you then building? Umoru Bob-manuel, quickly, I'll take a short read. Oshole watching from YouTube said, good point. Our development as a nation is tied to how much we as a people can care for the welfare of others. Bob-manuel, please go ahead.
On behalf of the underprivileged children of Nigeria and other society of Africa, I want to sincerely, from the depth of my heart, appreciate you, Mr. George, for this. And whatever you have done, you did it for God. And I want you to live with this fact tonight, that God in his books is a right judge. He's going to bless you.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
God bless you. My last words for tonight's interview, I want to appreciate you, and of course, for having me here. And it's a privilege to meet another distinguished Nigerian who has, in one way or the other, contributed. At first, I wanted to decline your invitation. If you see, it took me time to respond to you. I am always in the midst of counselors, because the Bible says in the midst of counsel, in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. Politicians can easily do one or two things. So I didn't want to like open up my security for firing squad, so that I could still be of very useful service to the nation. I want to thank my leader, my mentor, Honorable J. Osilama Okofu. When I forwarded the letter to him, he said, you have to attend to this interview. The people want to know what we want to do. The people want a ray of hope. And if you see, there's this independent picture we sent out graphics. It was Shades of Hope. Shade of Hope. That was the caption for today. I want to appreciate him for giving me that guidance not to turn this down. And if not for that guidance, I wouldn't have known that today God wants me to meet a distinguished Nigerian who, by the grace of God, we are going to be to work as a team to carve a very, very beautiful future for our people. Having said that, you see, I want to believe that Sir George, your dad told you how he went to school. This is the hope that we have. When our fathers went to school, they sat on the bare floor, they sat under the trees. Some of them were naked. Some have to use grandma's head tie or wrapper to cover their nakedness, or put on some funny stuff. 30 years after that, we started having some funny uniforms, some funny shoes, and all the rest of it. The Afro dressing came up and all the rest. And they were trekking distance to school. Now, 30 years after that, 25, 30 years after that, my father trekked to school. His father trekked to school. I boarded cars and vehicles or buses to school. You see the difference. In spite of our challenges, there is this development that is taking place because people are contributing their own quota, just like he did, to nation building. Having said that, the take is this: all hope is not lost. Like I said, the only solution to all our problems, which you and I know, which we didn't take time, we don't want to enumerate because we already know them, is leadership. And in organizing the leadership, we don't just want a set of persons to just be there. If we have a leadership that is built of all youth, wisdom may be absent in its entirety. So if we synthesize and synergize the wisdom of the old with the strength and wisdom of the youth, we are going to create a whole new nation where Nigeria becomes the dominant factor, where the youth Nigerians become dominant factor in nation building. Then, if we move away from there, we look at the future. We want to build a nation where Nigeria truly becomes the giant of Africa. And in getting this, we need to mobilize the youth, educate, and train them. When we say train now, mentoring has to come into place. Sir and ma, by the grace of God, in my library, I have 13,500 books and above. And by the grace of God, if you check over the years, I've not been talking. By the grace of God, I have read over 11,800 of the books. So when it now comes to nation building, understanding the problem of Nigeria, understanding the solution, the problem of the youth, why the youth are docile, why they prefer looking for food than looking for solution to nation building, I understand it. So if you check nations are wretched, or the wretched of the earth, or you look at reforming the poor, or you look at various miracles, intellectual miracles that took place in nation building, you will understand why we said, let us educate the youth. Because in educating the youth, Nigeria will become a haven of leadership to the world. Now, let me give you this. I want all Nigerians and Africans to go and look at the map of Africa. Look at it very well. Look at the shape of the map of Africa. The shape of the map of Africa is like a revolver, a gun. And go and check where Nigeria is sitting. It will shock you to know that Nigeria is sitting at the most important part, the trigger. Am I correct? You get the trigger, the trigger. Nigeria is at the trigger. Go and check where South Africa is. South Africa is at the outlet, the gun point, the point. That is where South Africa is. Why Nigeria is at this place? You see, if Nigeria gets it right, whatever it shoots, South Africa will let it out. And go and check all nations in Africa. Check the whole nations in Africa. There is no two nations having more challenges than Nigeria and South Africa. Go and check it. Insecurity hits Nigeria, the whole world tremble. Insecurity hits South Africa, the whole world tremble. So what therefore is the hope? The hope is we go back and come out. We go back and come out. Now we have gone back for a very long time. It is time to come out. And this is the fear of every average youth and average Nigerian. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. I had to first sang it in his song, and I had the great Steve Jobs when he was delivering a speech before his death. He said, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And the truth is, what they have used to cage the mind of every Nigerian is the fear factor of death. Now, surprisingly, my dad called me yesterday. Before his call, my younger brother called me. He is a pastor. And then whenever my dad wants to get into me, he uses that one to talk to me. So when he came and he was talking about it, I knocked him off immediately. I said, I shall live and not die. I am for a purpose. And I told him, I said, if any man that is on assignment to kill me, before the person gets out of his doorstep, surprisingly, the world will be shocked. The person will collapse, not just collapse and be paralyzed, but collapse and die. It is a fact. And I am challenging any Nigerian who is a godfather or who is a fear factor in Nigerian politics, who feels that they have murdered the voices of the people and they want to still keep the people in perpetual slavery. I dare them to lay an attempt on my life and see how it will go. So when my dad called me, I quickly tell him, I told him, I said, it is not about me. It's not about me. And I told him, I started mentioning the resources we have. And I gave him an example. I said in Kogi State, we have Itakpe and Ajaokuta. Ajaokuta is a conglomeration of 13 factories. Sir, Ama, I want you to go and research this. Itakpe and Ajaokuta started about the same time with Tata, that company called Tata. Surprisingly, over 40 years, Tata has supplied goods, its products, to all nations of the world, including Nigeria. But surprisingly, about the same length of time, 40 years down the lane, where is Nigeria? Where is Itakpe? Where is Ajaokuta? We are still crippling. Now, one thing you need to know about Itakpe and Ajaokuta is this. Itakwe is the largest steel deposit of iron ore in the whole world. Surprising to note, Ajaokuta is the second largest steel industry in the world. It is still creeping. In Ajaokuta, if you make me the managing director of Ajaokuta today, I give you 18 months, I will produce cars that will be sold at 10,000 naira per car. I'm not talking of cars that you need to push to start. I'm talking of facility, cars with modern facility. Your AC and everything will be there. Why? Because there is no need to import anything to fuse. If there is anything that we are going to import, it's our brain drain that has gone out. I'm not talking of the whites. I'm talking of Nigerians. The white, the black are the brain behind leading economies in the world. Bring Nigerians back home. Ajaokuta will give you the best of cars. They will give you the best of luxurious buses. They will give you the best of trailers. They will give you the best of iron sheets and all the rest of it. Now, I want to shock you again. In Itakpe, I ran a research in Itakpe. It took me over 6 years to run research on Itakpe and Ajaokuta. And I'm giving you first-hand information. And I challenge the House of Reps because they have reports that they have gathered over the years concerning Itakpe and Ajaokuta. Now, in Itakpe alone, you know, after you blast the rock, after you have got the mineral resources, you take them to there is a place they call beneficiation plant. The beneficiation plant is the finishing, not just the finishing point, they grind it and separate the waste from the real. You see, the iron ore itself, if you have an iron ore that fills this cup, Auntie Susan, you can't lift it with one hand. You can't. If you lift it with one hand, I'll give you 5 million. Yes, to tell you how heavy it is. Now, that the waste of that thing alone, the waste of it alone has two things. There's an aspect of it when extracted, add a little to cement and use it to build house. No bullet will crack that wall. If you use the waste of iron ore, when we now construct road and our road get destroyed in 2 months or anything, use the waste of iron ore, add bitumen and others to it, use it to build road. Those roads, I will give you an assurance of 50 years.
Wow.
I will give you an assurance of 50 years. Blessed with these mineral resources, I made bold to say, and I challenge our leaders, Nigeria has no business with poverty.
Absolutely.
You see, I did a lot of research. The late Ojukwu, I love him so much, irrespective of what any man thinks of Odumegwu Ojukwu. I love him. He's one mentor that I have come to love. And even on my dying bed, if you ask me to mention one name, one distinguished Nigerian that I will never forget in my life, I will mention Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu. The reason I said this is that Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu ran a research. In that research, he did something. He came up with a document. You know, there was a time he wanted to become president of Nigeria. In that document, he said, if the resources, as at then, Nigeria discovered only 19 mineral resources. Now we have 49. He said, if the resources of Nigerian nation is well utilized, harnessed to its fullest, that every Nigerian is going to be a kind of a socialist republic. Every Nigerian will sit at home and will employ white to each family as a houseboy or housegirl. Just to tell you the enormous wealth that we have. But we cannot get to where we are going until we go back and solve the leadership problem. You see, at the beginning, I told you that the biggest joy that I have in my heart, is the cultural diversity in Nigeria. That is my biggest. Joy. You see, God really want to vindicate me. You see, Nepal lights. That is the problem we are having. Now, I told you, I said, our diversity is one thing I am celebrating. It is not out of place that the Igbo said they want to go. It is not out of place. What then is the solution? Is the solution to solving the Igbo want to go killing Nnamdi Kanu? The answer is no. I told my mentor, I told him, I said, the 6 geopolitical zones we are having will further underdevelop Nigeria. You have divided Nigeria along political zone. If you want Nigeria to thrive, don't divide Nigeria along just 6 zones. let's break it down to 12 geopolitical zones. And then that is where the concept of the federation where we are talking about, that is where it comes in. Regional system of government truly comes in. Now, if from the beginning, the federal government has said, oh, Nnamdi Kanu, don't do this, don't do that, you have to go back to the table. And the conference that during Jonathan time, I think it was 2015, if I'm not mistaken, or 2013, I stand to be corrected. There was a conference and there was a report. That report was not implemented. Before implementing it, I am a social scientist. I have spoken to professors of political science. I have given them my idea about nationhood, about governing Nigeria, and they have accepted it. You see, break Nigeria into 12 regions. If you break it to 12 regions, each of these regions will have a premier as it is. Then each of these person, whether one side is run by APC, is run by PDP, it's not the concern. Then in doing that, you are giving them power to develop the nation. In giving them that power to develop the nation, then we have governors under them. Then we have various systems that are operating. And before you know what is happening, we will be driving towards a new Nigeria. Now, instead of looking at how we build this nation, the system that we can operate that will help us, what we are hitting on is democracy, democracy, democracy. Democracy is not Africa's system of governance. Yeah. We have a system of governance, and until we acknowledge that system, if we do not want to acknowledge that system, then there is a system that we can use. You see, they say federalism, federalism, federalism. Some have said true federalism or fake federalism. Now, let me put it clear. In our field, as a social scientist, as a political scientist, there is nothing like fake federalism or true federalism. Federalism is federalism. You are either practicing federalism or you leave it. So, the way forward now is, I have had a lot of calls from people in diaspora, and I want to appreciate diasporans. You see, their commitment to this nation, irrespective of not being in Nigeria, is awesome. I thank them and I ask God to bless them on their daily outing. God will bless them. A lot of them have come in and said, what is the way forward? Like Sir George said, by the special grace of God, between December and January, there is going to be a sovereign national conference. We are calling for a sovereign national conference where Nigerians of different breed and creed will meet and discuss. And our discussion is not just because I want to see the face of Mr. George, I want to see the face of Mrs. Susan, I want to see. No. It is born out of the passion that all these anomalies need to stop. That conference is not for us to come out and bring paper. We are not going to put any paper together. No. In that conference, we are going to invite all international diplomats that are present in Nigeria, all international stakeholders, national stakeholders. They will be in that place, whether they attend or not. Our resolution is simple. Our resolution is simple. A new Nigeria is possible, and the journey begins from this conference. Immediately we finish that conference, we are not going to leave. We are going to march to the major places in Abuja or wherever we hold the conference and tell them this is the demand of the youth. And the demand is simple. I hope you can still hear me clearly.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. These are the demands of the youth. And the demand is simple. Our demand is, if you are bereaved of idea, if you are bereaved of intellectual property, if you are bereaved of leadership skill to lead this nation, step aside, or we are going to throw you aside. In throwing you aside does not mean we are going to beat you. No. We are going to bring superior arguments that will cushion the little argument.
Network.
So the way forward.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that he hadn't rounded up before the network cut out. But you know what? You heard this well-researched and very well-informed discussion that we've had, and with his contributions. What else can you add to a conversation like this after hearing all these things, other than the fact that we know that truly God is still interested in Nigeria to have raised or brought to the public domain someone young and passionate and sophisticated in his mind. And so there is hope. When we keep saying there is hope, this is it. This is it, because Umoru is going to begin to raise a generation of people who will think like him, who will act like him. And he's here. I'm going to quickly bring him to just round up. Please just round up.
Okay, so my last word is this. This collection of people we are putting together is not an army for warfare. No. The people we are putting together is a collection of intellectuals. You see, we have to brainstorm. In brainstorming, we are not brainstorming to look at the problem. No. Like he said before, we know all the problem. And I have agreed with him that the problem are known. The way forward is solution. Another disaster that we don't want is we don't want another disastrous Buhari again. And not aside that, we don't want another disastrous Bello. You see, one of the things they feel the youth are not qualified or they are not ready for governance. Take a look at Bello, who came into government 5 years ago. He is a youth. He came in at the age of 40 or 41. But if you check his outcome over the years, is the worst governor Kogi State has ever produced in history. He's the worst governor of northern extraction. The reason is this. Kogi is about the second richest state by mineral deposit. My dear, by the fact on table today, Kogi is about the poorest state in Nigeria. Why? The leadership is bereft of ideas. So we are going to sit together to create a new nation. Africa as a haven, as a new haven of young people whose focus is centered on what they can do to better the economic and social life of all. A lot of youth have been calling, and I want to use this medium to tell them, those of you who are calling and asking me if you join this struggle, what is in for you? The answer I've given to you still remains the same. If you are looking for a penny in this struggle, please stay in your house and enjoy your state while we who are ready go to the battlefront. I want to say again, no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. In the words of Dino Melaye, of course, one of the problems of this nation too. So we, yes, Dino is my party man, he's my leader, but it's a problem of this nation. He is among those who put us to where we are today. That in the midst of COVID-19, the government that he joined them in bringing in is increasing the pump price of petrol. The same government is increasing the electricity tariff, among others. So we want to sit down and put this out. Now, I am using this opportunity as the last time to call again to all Nigerians. If you go to my page, Bob-manuel Umoru, that is my Facebook account, Bob-manuel Umoru, scroll through, you will see the link. Kindly share it to others. Let every Nigerian, educated or non-educated alike, let them sign that petition. By the grace of God, if we get 5,000 signatures, we are not waiting for millions. If we get 5,000 signatures today, we will take that petition, print out in copies, and go to all embassies. And that is the number one thing I want to assure all Nigerians, that we are going to ensure, we are going to this embassy to ensure that our request on behalf of Nigerians is granted and is honored. That all of them should stay within Nigeria and let's develop this nation. Even if it is headache, you will not go outside to treat. If you like, they said the only doctor that can take care of that operation is in US. Let the doctor stay in US. Let our doctors do their best. If they cannot, then rest on God. And if God says you will leave, congratulations. None of them also. When we have successfully closed down our international airways, we will now bring up another petition, another request. We will now mandate those who we have stopped from going out to deport back their children to Nigeria. Let them come to our schools. Let them come and drive on our roads. Let them go to our hospital. Let them go to our farms. Let them go to our markets. Let them go to everything that we as a people are passing through. Let them pass through it. Then if it is good, then we will clap for them. But if it is not good, then solution is not far. So with this, my dear sister and my big uncle, I want to say a very big thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I want to laud this initiative. I do hope that we as a people, by 2021, October 1st, will have reason to say, okay, what are the progress that we have made so far? And progressively, we are going to score ourselves high. Thank you so much, and thank you all Nigerians. And I leave you with these words. Somebody said, fellow Americans, ask not what America will do for you, ask what you will do for America. I have never one day asked what Nigeria will do for me. Now I am saying, fellow Nigerians, ask not what Nigeria will do for you. I challenge you tonight. Ask, what can you do for Nigeria? What will posterity remember you for? If Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa had the opportunity to come back today, would they be proud of our generation? This is what I leave you with. As for me, I have taken the bull by the horn. It's either forward, never, forward ever, and backward never. Nigeria must move forward. Nigeria must move forward, and we must get it right. Nigerians must get out of poverty quickly. And the best way to get out of poverty is to develop all critical sectors that are needed. We have no business with power outage when we have every state has dams and rivers that can produce independent power supply to every state. So I challenge them with what is happening in the Tagba and Jakarta when they enjoy uninterrupted power supply. We can replicate that in the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And to get this done, Nigerian youth, if you are not leading in the next election, in the next transitional process, you are not just a failure to yourself, you are not just a failure to your family, you are not just a failure to your community, you are not just a failure to your local government, you are not a failure to your state, you are not a failure to your nation, you are a failure to man and God, and you are a failure to this generation. God bless you all. I challenge every Nigerian to come outside and stand against these oppressors and stand against Godfathers. If Edo State could defeat Tinubu and his bullion van, if Edo State could defeat Osomole, if Edo State could defeat Gandola, the man who brought millions of dollars to Edo State to woo us out with new phones, if Edo people could do it and defeat them, and they shamefully left Edo State burying their faces, then we as a people can do it. We as a people can do it, and there is no other time to do it than now. So I challenge you, look forward to the conference. We are going to brainstorm. We are going to take Nigeria by force, knowing that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. I am a proud Nigerian. I am happy to celebrate. For me to know that people like Mr. George are doing their bit for Nigeria to advance, then I have no reason to regret over this day. I am happy. For me to know that people like Susan are still raising money for the underprivileged and impoverished children. I am happy that I belong to a Nigeria where people have conscience. And in that, I am going to lift the emblem of this nation. I am not interested in money. I am not interested in driving the best of cars. I am not interested in driving the best of houses. Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, when he left his presidency, he resigned to his father's hut. If I am going to be that kind of leader, if I am going to be that kind of generation, if the creed of people I'm working with, if my leaders and all the rest of them are in that shoe, then there is hope for Nigeria. In that hope, I laid down my life, I laid down my pride to work for the integrity and the advancement of this nation, not minding whose host is God, not minding who is going to be in tears, not minding who is going to fail economically, who is going to become poor by the outcome of this struggle. What is important is Nigeria should stand tall and remain tall in the committee of nations, so that when those our heroes pass, had the opportunity and God opened the door and the windows of heaven for them to behold what is happening in Nigeria, they will beat their chest that yes, I laid down my life for something positive. When the late Odumegwu Ojukwu has the opportunity to peep from heaven, he will say, yes, I am proud of what is happening in Nigeria. That is the Nigeria we want, and nothing on earth is going to stop this idea whose time has come. Do whatever you want to do. This idea, the time has come. We, the people, have decided and resolved. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. Thank you, Mrs. Susan. Thank you, Mr. George. God bless you. We'll keep talking and we'll keep advancing the cause of our people. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. I don't know about you. Helen D says,
Thank you.
You know what? Ask not what Nigerian will do, but what you can do in Nigeria. And Mr. Bob-manuel says that the power of the people is greater than the power of those in
the power of the people is greater than the people in power.
Yes, it's greater than the power.
I'm confusing you, right? Okay.
The power of the people is greater than the people in power. Thank you so much. That is powerful. And remember to post it to the conference that you're organizing. I have signed that petition and I have shared the petition among the people that I know.
We won't disappoint you.
Keep us posted. We do our little by little, we will find ourselves in land. And it will not take another 2 years by the grace of God.
Please, can I really interject again? Please, just in 1 minute. Another factor these people are using against us is the fact that they understand that we are the followers, that there is no love, no strong love, no cord binding us together. So they keep oppressing us economically, politically, and otherwise. But I want them to understand this, that I want them to understand that if we could bind ourselves with the cord of love, if we could bind ourselves with the cord of love, we will win this battle. And all we need to do is love one another, stand for one another, and then we'll move on.
Absolutely. Love one another. Love rules. Oh wow. Thank you so very much. And thank you. We'll talk to you later. We had a third guest. I think we had kind of network issue coming on in this
okay, this is what I wanted to give to you. This is the quote I wanted to give to you.
Yeah.
If the power of love can overcome the love of power, we'll make the world a better place by living to love and loving to live.
Wow. Can you imagine? It gets better and better.
If the power of love can overcome the love of power, the love for power, we will make Nigeria and the world a better place by living to love and loving to live.
Wow. I need you to type that and send to me, and I'm going to promote it as one of your quotes, because you're a great man.
Thank you, man. Most honored.
Bob-manuel and fills me with I don't want to add to that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. You know what? I really truly felt like I went to church today, because this is how we feel when we go to church and we're fired up and told the gospel and told what God wants for us and where God wants us to be. And then I leave the church feeling like I can conquer the world. This is what Bob-manuel have done. And of course, I just want to say a big thank you to all those who stayed. We're almost into 2 hours and there's still people here. That is to tell you that we all want a change. We want, and of course, the reason, you see, normally I would want to look for some big name, some politician or but I decided on this day, we're going to have people like us, just ordinary citizens. Why? Because we're the ones who wear the shoes and knows where it pinches. So I wanted us to come on this platform and, express our feelings, our true feelings. We didn't want to bring politicians who will come and talk political. And that's the reason. And you can imagine. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined. God bless you. This is Africa Rise with Susan West. And of course, do not forget, when I do send out the broadcast to how we're going to be donating monies to sponsoring these children, starting with the children in Bonny Island, please do well to send me your contributions. Nobody's going to run away with your money. No, we will make sure that we announce every money that comes in. We're going to announce the names of the people who contribute, unless, of course, they say otherwise, because some people don't like to be mentioned. And we will publicly on this program send out the monies to the recipients, and they will do well to send in evidence as to how monies are being spent. Okay, thank you so much. Helen D said, I am just here all the way from Washington, D.C., smiling to know that there is a Nigerian like Bob. Thank you, Jesus. Absolutely. Thank you, Jesus. Like, thank you, Jesus. You know, thank you, Jesus. I mean, some of us have the passion, some of us have the faith, some of us want to do the right thing, but how many of us have the courage like Bob-manuel? On that note, please allow me to just say goodbye and see you on Sunday. We're totally done with the Nigeria at 60 series. Until Sunday, I just want to make sure that I encourage you to take good care of yourself, love your neighbor as yourself, love every Nigerian regardless of the tribe and religion that they practice. From then on, we can begin to move away from all these things that bind us. Okay, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram. God bless you. Bye-bye.